Hey, be a squid and subscribe to my mediocrity. How's it going, my squids? Today we're going to be doing the Fortnite 2019 actual review. This video's been a while coming and whatnot. I was going to do it back in 2018, but I felt like I just didn't have the hours put into this game, honestly, and I wanted to at least put in over 48 hours, and I'm bordering like, what, 70 now? I don't know how to check that, honestly, but anyway, I've got a lot of history to talk about with this game. I've got a lot of opinions about this game, so let's just go ahead and get this started, because it's going to be probably at least 15 minutes or more. So for me, I have hated this game since it came out back in September 26th. This game has absolutely just, it bombed for me. It was ass. Like, I felt like the building was too much. I felt like the gunplay was ass. I felt like it was, you had to have both aspects in order to play this game. You had to be able to shoot and you had to be able to build. If you could not do one or the other, the game was virtually unplayable. That's how I felt. And for a while, that's kind of how it was. That's why all the pros and whatnot that blew up how they did was because the stuff that they were doing was genuinely impressive, because you had to be able to do both. You had to be able to think on your feet. You had to be able to build all these extravagant things and, you know, outbuild your opponent. And then on top of having to outbuild them, you also had to be more skilled in terms of aiming. That is fire. That is absolutely amazing. The fact that people can have that mindset, they have that clarity where they can think so fast on their feet and be able to outplay their opponent and be so calm about that. It's crazy. And while I admired that from a distance, I couldn't anywhere even get close to that sort of godliness. It was impossible, and that sort of experience was frustrating me because it was such an untouchable experience. I couldn't get to that. There was no time and there was no way to effectively learn how to build without playing the game consistently. And for me, I didn't have the time to do that stuff. I don't have the time to play like that all day, every day. I have, you know, I gotta make Smite videos for my main fan base. I gotta make, you know, reviews of other games. I've gotta, you know, I've also got my son. So I've got a lot of stuff going on. You know, I don't have the time to be able to sit here for 6 hours and literally play this shit. And the reason I've done this now is because I've got a little bit of more free time with how I'm doing things and with Steve's like schedule and whatnot, so we're able to kind of get in a little bit more gaming, and we just kind of drop Smite all together in order to play this game. So I had to make sacrifices for this damn video just to get this shit done. I mean, let's be real, this game was so bad for me that the last time I played squads was 435 days ago. That's how bad this game was to me. And I only played it for an hour and 22 minutes. That's it was terrible, dude. And from that point on, from season 1 all the way towards the end of season 7, I didn't play this game at all, and I hated everything about this game. And I think that my hate didn't really stem for the game was bad. My hate stemmed from I couldn't do it, and it wasn't so I was projecting my hate that I couldn't do it onto Fortnite, and I'll be a man and say that. I don't know how many other people will be a man and say that, but I will say that I was mad that I couldn't do it. So I'll be the first to say that I was mad that I couldn't do it. Moving on past that, let's start talking about the things that they've changed, which is the reasons why I've been brought back to the game. Now, originally, I just wanted to make a funny moments with Steve, and Fortnite was the only thing that we really had that we could possibly do something on, and I had an idea for it. And through that recording, I found that, oh, this is amazing. This is fun. I'm actually kind of good at it. And that's not the case at all. It's not the fact that I'm super good at it. It's that the game is super nerfed. And what I mean by that is there's still a level of skill. Yes, you still have to be able to aim, you still have to be able to build to a certain degree, but at the same time, it is a nerfed version of that. Now, it's to the point to where I can get into top 5 and even almost win games without building a single thing, farming a damn tree. That's how nerfed it is. Before, that was impossible, dude. You had to build in order to get anywhere in this game. And now the building has been nerfed so much that the materials, you don't nearly get as much from farming trees or whatever, and you don't nearly when it comes to the end game, that's when the building really happens, because the last 2 squads or like solo duos, whatever, they tend to have all the materials because they've been farming up all game. But from that 100 people dropping off, that point on till the last top 10, you'll hardly find people building a whole lot. I mean, maybe you'll see somebody build some quick 90s or something, and aside from that, there's not really any building going on. It's just kind of really crazy gunplay, a lot of running, a lot of hiding, rushing, whatever. There's not really a whole lot of building aspects because it's the early game, so it kind of emphasizes a lot on quick kills on the early game, and then the people that make it out of the early game, that's when shit starts to get about the skill level of building. Which, that is a pro and a con because of the nerf building so much down into the ground. Now the professionals feel like anybody can kind of be good at the game because the core aspect that made them professionals is slowly disappearing. That's why the game exploded how it did. It was so amazing to see Ninja doing these crazy things, or Daequan or Myth or whatever. It was so amazing to see them do these godly builds and whatnot, and then that's what got them famous, because they were able to do the aiming and they were able to do the building. And now that it's been nerfed to the ground, their greatness seems like it's nothing. I'm really trying hard not to sound like, you know, a crazy fanboy, because I'm not. I don't watch any of them, but that's what I mean though. That's what blew them up, was the building, and the fact that it's gone, it makes them seem like their achievements are pretty much nothing. It makes it feel like they just got lucky. Which to a degree they did, because there was no guarantee Fortnite was going to blow up, but I mean, the fact that they blew up off of the building aspect, that's what I'm referring to. So now with nerfed building, it's a lot easier to get into it as a casual player, because you kind of feel like, oh, I've been playing, you know, video games since what, blah, 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 well, just however many years, so I know how to aim at least, so maybe I can play this game. And that's how I felt. I felt like because I could aim in this game, and which is, by the way, a little too easy in my personal opinion, minus the fact of Bloom, which I'll talk about here in a second, but the fact that I can aim in this game, and I was able to drop like 10 plus kills within my first like couple games or whatever, and I was like, oh my god, this is what's going on. I'm trying to chalk it up to the fact that the game is easy, and I don't want to say that I'm a pro or that I'm really good at the game, because I don't think that at all, but I'm out here dropping like 5 to 6 kills a game, sometimes 10, and then when I play Team Rumble, dude, I crack like 15 to 20 kills almost every game. It's weird. Some people are gonna sit there and be like, oh, that's nothing, I dropped like 50 or whatever, but like, you have to understand from my perspective, I haven't played in like 6.5 seasons. You have to see where I'm coming from that perspective. That is impressive to me, because I haven't played this game in literally 435 days. That's the part that weirds me out, is that I can just hop on after over a year experience of just not playing this game and just come on here and just drop those amount of kills with very little practice. That's not normal. That's weird. That's like a 6-foot man trying to go play against 5-year-olds in basketball. That's what it feels like. It's just like, yeah, he doesn't know how to play basketball, but he's gonna win because he's beating up on little kids. It's very easy, and that's what it feels like to me, that I'm just kind of beating up on some people that really don't know, because I've gotten some questionable kills that I should have died, but they had the aim of ass, or they have no clue what's going on. And that's another thing that I probably need to address, is that the game is easier because there's such a high player base of children. And I'm not saying the kids are bad, but some might be a little too young to be playing this game because maybe they have no idea how to use thumb control or whatever. But it feels really bad when I find somebody that gets the drop on me with a full-on shotgun and they whiff me somehow, and I do a 180 turn and ding him in the head with a purple pistol and they die. So while that feels good in the moment, the realization afterwards is kind of depressing. Now, obviously, not everybody is a child in this game. I see streamers all the time in here. I see fucking, there's obviously adults in here and whatnot. So I see what's going on here. It's not always, you're not gonna fight like, you know, a 9-year-old that doesn't really know how to work the control yet or hasn't figured out how to play. But you know, it still feels like you're playing the game at a level that is beyond what you really are. So that can be a pro and a con, and that was one of the things that Ninja had actually said, was that that Fortnite is making people good. And yeah, they kind of are, because people like I said, beating up on like a 9-year-old that can't work a control, like I can get tens of thousands of kills on those kinds of people, because those are the kind of people playing this game. So Fortnite is essentially making me the better player, because I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been using a damn control since I was a fucking baby, so of course I'm gonna shit on them. My thumb dexterity, dog, dude, I could go pro. Obviously I'm playing, but the point is, that's a little weird. Maybe the game's too easy. Maybe they need to come out with a separate game mode. I've said this before, that they should have a separate game mode for the casual player base, and they should have a main game mode where they can buff everything back to normality for the professionals, and things can be back to being impressive, versus now it's just this really lame baby game. But moving on past all the nerf stuff and whatnot, I want to talk about the gunplay, which is very important, because without building, well, all you have left is the gunplay. Now, for me, I don't necessarily like the tiers of gun. You've got your white tiers, your green tiers, blue, purple, orange, which is the legendaries, whatever. You get the point. It works on that weird tier system, and I don't really like that. I feel like it's weird RNG, like, oh shit, I made it to the end of the game with a blue whatever, and they have a gold whatever. So automatically, I'm put at a disadvantage to a degree. Of course, obviously, it's not impossible to win a game with a blue AR versus a golden scar, but it's definitely more in their favor versus mine. Like, I pretty much, my aim's got to be on point. Maybe I got to get the drop on them. Maybe I have to build better than them. Either way, the point being is that there's a little bit of an imbalance there, and I feel like it should just be one gun, and that's it in terms of tiers. Like, there should be just a white, everything should just be a white gun, that's it. And then whatever happens from that point on, it's whatever happens from that point on. It's in no way, shape, or form a deal breaker as to why you should play Fortnite. It's just an aspect that I don't necessarily like, but other people don't mind it, and I don't, even though I don't like it, I don't mind it. As for how does the guns actually feel, well, that's a hard question, because the normal thing to say would be they feel great. It's very easy to aim, but sometimes the bloom just really is amazingly broken. Like, I have never played a game where bloom has fucked me so hard. You can pick up a golden scar, a golden AK, a golden anything, and somehow you will miss every single shot, even though you are aimbot hacking. I'm not kidding when I say this. You could full on aimbot with a scar, a golden scar, and somehow still miss because bloom is that insane. And this isn't me just talking out of my ass. There is straight up documented footage, a plethora of footage of this happening, where the bloom is just so insane that you miss every single shot, even though the crosshair is lasering this person. It's crazy. I'm not gonna say that it's a deal breaker, because I think bloom is a good thing, but what they have right now, that is unacceptable. It definitely needs to be adjusted. I know people are saying that, oh, bloom needs to go away. No, bloom needs to stay, because it's what's going to separate the babies from the actual good players, and I think that's a healthy balance. But the problem is the bloom that they've implemented is so blown out that it's just not even bloom anymore. It's a handicap is what it is. It's like playing with an uncontrollable gun. It's just impossible. Like, just, I don't know. It happens way too often for my liking, and I wish that they would adjust it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. It's not a deal breaker for me, but it's something I need to mention. Another thing that I want to address is shotgun. Now, normally you would probably think that, oh, it's Fortnite. Probably the main weapons are like the golden scar, the assault rifles, the submachine guns. Like, you would think that, right? No, the main gun, I would argue, is the tactical shotgun, or the pump action, or not pump shotgun. That would be the those would be the guns that you will get shot in the face with or in the back with all the time. The main strategy, from what I gather when it comes to playing Fortnite, is rush the other player as quickly as possible, or get them lit, and then you rush them, and then you just beam them with a shotgun and just kill them in one hit. It seems that everybody is very adamant and using the shotgun. It is a core, and I mean, it's more core than building, dude. Shotguns are such a, oh man, they're a level of frustration I never knew I could even get into. Like, you thought you saw a lot of shotguns in Call of Duty back in the day? Nuh-uh, motherfucker. Fortnite wins the tournament on that one, dude. They hold the grand crown of that shit. It is Shotgun City in this game, with pretty much in every build, or not build, every like meta that they've had, the shotgun has always been there. There is not a single game where you should not have a shotgun just because of how strong it is. And I'm not saying this is a bad or a good thing. I just think it's weird that there's all these other guns in the game, but probably the most used weapon is a shotgun or some kind of form of assault rifle. And even still, the shotgun is still going to outshine the ARs at all times, just because it's that important to rush your opponent with building. And when you get into these build wars, it evidently comes down to you shotgunning, because you guys are right up in each other's grills, so you're going to be, you know, shotgunning. And the essential thing that people do, they use the shotgun, whether it be the tac or the one pump, and then during, you know, the animation for the pump, basically what they do is they swap to another weapon. So they damage you with the shotgun, swap to a submachine gun or a gun or just any other gun realistically, and then they shoot you and then you die. While that sounds cool in your head, it doesn't feel good, because you're just sitting there trying to use one gun or something and it doesn't work. Some people just want that really easy gunplay where you just, you know, shoot from a distance, or where you just use one gun and one gun only or whatever. And that's kind of what it is. That's why like people like Shroud get mad respect whenever they use like a M4 or something in PUBG, and they use that all game or whatever, and they drop like 20 kills. It's very skillful. It's the master of just aiming. It looks so dank whenever that happens. Whenever you see two people using a shotgun, you're like, yeah, that's about right. Having discovered that I have a newfound opinion on certain professionals that use a lot of shotguns, I'm like, oh, that's not impressive, because now I know that's super easy to do and that's what everybody does, so it's not cool anymore. It's just weird to see these shotguns come into play so much, and I don't know, it kind of sets me a little off, because I just prefer to use longer range rifles. I like to have better aim. When you use a shotgun point blank, if you miss point blank, and it does happen, believe me, it does, but you really shouldn't be missing with a tac or a pump. The spread is pretty nice, and honestly, it's still pretty easy to kill somebody with it. There are the moments where you're gonna hit like 8 damage because only one pellet hits them in the head, but that's another thing that may or may not happen to you. That's pretty stupid. And as for the last two things we're going to talk about the battle pass, and we're going to talk about the actual content that you can create with Fortnite. This is probably the best form of microtransaction. Not only is it cheap, it's $25. To some of you that might not be cheap, but honestly, for what you get with the battle pass, like right out the gate, season 7, you get 2 legendary skin, male and female, and they're customizable with different colors. Yes, you have to unlock challenges and do certain whatever to unlock the more upgraded versions, but that's not that big of a deal, because if you're a long-term player of the game, you're eventually going to get to that point, so it's not that big of a deal. The fact that you pay $25 one-time payment and you get 2 legendary skins, as well as an unlocked version of newer skins, emotes, and pictures, and V-Bucks, and whatever, that's so worth. Comparatively to things like Paladin that try to imitate this process, it doesn't even come close. Not only is the price not even remotely worth, because what Paladins has essentially done is copied this entire system, but the only thing they didn't copy is the quality of the content inside the battle pass. The battle pass of Paladins is pretty much filled with just garbage, utter garbage that is not even worth $25. Like, yeah, you pay a one-time payment and you unlock maybe a cool mount or a border. It's like, that's okay, fine, that's kind of cool, but everything else is ass. Not to mention the unlocking of each tier is worse than Fortnite. Fortnite's unlocking system is super easy. You just complete some bullshit challenges and you're done, and you can do them easily in Team Rumble or any other like random game mode. Some of them you have to do in the main game mode or whatever, and that's fine, you know, I'll accept that. But the fact that I've gone up 56 tiers, and over the past 3 or 4 days I've played nothing but Team Rumble with Steve, I have gone 56 tiers off of just that. And I just bought the battle pass, what, I think 3 days ago or something on the lines of that. So yeah, it's that easy. Not to mention, outside of the battle pass, you have your featured items, which is super cool, which every 24 hours they cycle out new skins, or not new skins, they cycle out like previous skins or whatever. So for people like me that are returning, we get to actually pick up some skins that we missed out on. The reason I like this so much is because it gives me at least a choice of what the fuck I want to buy. If I pay 100 V-Bucks, there is no way I'm gonna waste this, because I still get to pick and choose what I want. Unlike a game like Smite or Paladins or any other shit game that it involves loot boxes, I pretty much have a choice with this. It's not the best system in terms of like being able to pick and choose, because obviously there's, you know, a limited thing here. Like it's not like a vast choice, like you've got a couple options, but that's it. But it's still leagues better because I actually get to save my money, as well as I still get to pick and choose what I want. Even though it's day by day, I still have the option. So that's still the plus for me. That's in terms of microtransactions, this is probably as good as it gets and closest to godliness. That this is where it's at. And the last thing I want to talk about is content creating for Fortnite. This is a very important thing to content creators because we can do so much. The knowledge of editing, depending on the person that knows how to edit, how vast they have that knowledge, if they know what they're doing, they can do some amazing shit with this. In me, I'm a pretty amateur editor. Like, I'm not professional or anything like that. I love to edit and whatnot, but I am in no way, shape, or form a master of disaster when it comes to editing. But I can create stuff like this that looks aesthetically pleasing, and it's a pretty cool intro. So just check this out. So just being able to create something as small as that is amazing. And most of that wasn't even chalked up to editing. That was just from the replay, and most of it was just my recording. I just had to, you know, maybe add some color correction, whatever, just to make it a little cool, add the intro text, whatever, stuff like that. So it's something that is so good for content creating. It allows you to do montages, sick edits, and whatnot. It's just something that is a tool for creators, and that's where it's at. Every game that involves like characters or just involves like a MOBA or a shooter or something like that that's competitive, they should always have a replay system, because that is one of the best ways to advertise. 100%. Smite should have replays, not just on PC, but on Xbox too. Same thing with Paladins, same things with Call of Duty, everything. And I'm not saying, I think Call of Duty does have replays, but I don't remember. Anyway, just everything should have a replay system, because it is one of the best ways for creators to advertise your game, because it shows off all the crazy shit that we can do with our editing skills. So that's just something that I wanted to mention, that I felt like if you're a content creator and you're iffy about this game, there is a lot of content to be made with this replay system. It may take some time to get used to, but it does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So I just urge you to at least give it another chance and check it out. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's a free fucking game anyway, so who cares? It ain't like they're gonna be losing money anyway due to the fact that $2.3 billion, yeah right, as if your measly $10 for V-Bucks matters. So it's whatever. You might as well give it a shot. It's really just that easy. Anyway, thank you guys. I'm sorry the video was long. There was just a lot to talk about, but yeah, bye-bye.